This is your class live recording for Understanding Poetry for my freshman English class. We're going to go through a couple of poems today, talk about meaning, and kind of verbally annotate them. So the first poem we're going to start off with is Young by Sexton. So we'll go ahead and read it, and then we'll talk about it. 1,000 doors ago, when I was a lonely kid in a big house with 4 garages, and it was summer as long as I could remember, I lay on the lawn at night, clover wrinkling over me, the stars bedding over me, my mother's window a funnel of yellow heat running out, my father's window half shut, and I where sleepers pass, and the boards of the house were smooth and white as wax, and probably a million leaves sailed on their strange stalks as the crickets ticked together, and I, in my new body, which was not yet a woman, told the stars my questions, and thought God could really see the heaven and the painted light, elbows, knees, dreams, good night. So I want to start off talking about the imagery, I guess, in word choice. We're going to start at the beginning of the poem, 1,000 doors ago. I think this is such a really interesting and different way of talking about time passing in the concept of doors. We don't really have a concept of how much time goes between each door closing and opening. But I like that phrasing, 1,000 doors ago, when I was a lonely kid. And I think this is such an important phrase to have so early in the poem because this is such a universal human understanding of being a lonely child, particularly when we have the imagery of the big house with 4 garages, and it's summer all the time. So there is this concept of stuff instead of companionship, big house, 4 garages, but she's alone. She's got the lawn that's nice and cozy, the stars, but her mother's window is a funnel with the heat running out, and her father's window is half shut. So there is this concept of separation between her and her parents. They're inside in the light and the heat and the warmth, and she's not. She's outside with the stars, bedding over her. So she is alone outside in the dark where it's colder. I like the description that the father's window is half shut, and I where sleepers pass, which kind of brings this imagery of that place between asleep and awake, which is kind of a magical place, and she's not there. Our speaker is outside. She describes the house, smooth, with lots of leaves and crickets, and so she's talking about there isn't really a sense of companionship here, even though there are leaves and crickets and her folks are inside. She's still alone in her new body, which is not a woman's yet. So again, we have this understanding that she's young, having this new body, brings up lots of great imagery for us as the reader to understand. She's got a lot of questions. There's probably some confusion. Coming into understanding who she is and what it means to be a woman. And she's asking the stars and God what that means instead of asking mom and dad. And so we really have this great imagery of what it means to be young and alone and to feel confused. And I think this poem does a great job portraying that imagery. I snagged a quick picture off the web, but I think really beautifully kind of epitomizes this poem. We've got this lovely starry night, this house lit up, looks warm and inviting, but as the viewer standing outside, we can tell that we're alone, and there is a separation. And so I really think that this is a good image to represent the poem. In the same vein, we're reading Audre Lorde's Hanging Fire. And again, there's this symbolism of youth that we'll talk about. I am 14, and my skin has betrayed me. The boy I cannot live without still sucks his thumb in secret. How come my knees are always so ashy? What if I die before morning? And Mama's in the bedroom with the door closed. I have to learn how to dance in time for the next party. My room is too small for me. Suppose I die before graduation. They will sing sad melodies but finally tell the truth about me. There is nothing I want to do, and too much that has to be done. And Mama's in the bedroom with the door closed. Nobody even stops to think about my side of it. I should have been on the math team, and my marks are better than his. Why do I have to be the one wearing braces? I have nothing to wear tomorrow. Will I live long enough to grow up? And Mama's in the bedroom with the door closed. Now this poem is great because it has this really lyrical feel to it, and it almost feels like song lyrics. We have this repetition of a chorus, Mama's in the bedroom with the door closed, which is one of the most universal statements that can be used when we're talking about feeling alone, is when somebody closes the door on you. So, she's 14, my skin's betrayed me. For me, I read acne. This boy she's madly in love with still sucks his thumb in secret. So that's kind of an interesting problem to be dealing with. Her knees are ashy, and what if she dies before morning? And again, this sense that I'm alone. I have to learn how to dance. My room's too small. What if I die before graduation? People will finally say nice things about me. And I love the next lines because there is a universal feeling as a young adult that there's nothing you want to do, but there's so much to do. Whether it's school or getting a job or dating the right person, there's so much that has to be done, but you don't really want to do it. And again, this sense of isolation. Mom was in the bedroom with the door closed. Nobody even stops to think about my side of it. I should have been on the math team. My marks are better than his. So again, we have this sense of I don't want to say entitlement, but deserving things that you were kind of shunted to the side for someone else. Why do I have to be wearing braces? I've got nothing to wear tomorrow. Well, I even live long enough to grow up. And again, Mom was in the bedroom with the door closed. So we have this kind of universal understanding here of what it means to be a teenager, all these worries and stressors and fears. And that's what I like about this poem, is I feel like it speaks to kind of every teenage experience, because I feel like every teenager has experienced something on this list. And that's a very powerful thing to talk about a universal human experience, and for isolation and worries and fears about growing up and what it means to be an adult to be found in this poem. The image I have here for you, for me, really speaks to the sense of isolation. Something about this image with the girl by herself looking in the mirror speaks to this poem. She's lonely. For me, I read into this picture and see somebody who is worried and who doesn't feel fulfilled and is afraid of the future and kind of dealing with everything that the poem talks about. Sonnet 73, we can't get through any poetry unit without talking about Shakespeare, of course. While Shakespeare is a widely celebrated poet, his plays are definitely a lot more famous. That time of year thou mayest in me behold, when yellow leaves, or none, or few do hang, upon those boughs which shake against the cold, bare ruined choirs, where late the sweet birds sang. In me thou seest the twilight of such day, as after sunset fadeth in the west, which by and by black night doth take away, death's second self, that seals up all in rest. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire, that on the ashes of his youth doth lie, as the deathbed whereupon it must expire, consumed with that which it was nourished by. This thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong, to love that well which thou must leave there long. So getting past archaic language, even reading it out loud, you can kind of tell that I struggle with it, but getting past the archaic language and getting into the deeper meaning. That time of year where you see yellow leaves or none, or a few hanging on the boughs, or bows, I guess. Point is that it's late fall. We have yellow leaves, or no leaves, or a few leaves sticking to the trees, which shake against the cold, bare ruined choirs where the late sweet birds sang. I always picture kind of a church with that choir pit is now empty, when there should be a choir there, but it's empty, and it's kind of sad and depressing. In me thou seest the twilight of such day. So he's saying, when you look at me, you see. I'm coming into the twilight, I'm coming into the nighttime, the fall of my season. So we have this idea that this person is fading away, that their time together is quite short. He goes as far as to say, death's second self, that seals up all in rest. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire, that on the ashes of his youth doth lie. So the ashes of youth is what the person sees. Which is a very powerful image to look at someone and see the ashes of their youth, to see that they once were young and vibrant and beautiful, and what's left is just the ash of that. Consumed with which that was nourished by. And this is where we have the volta, which in a sonnet means we've got the shift, we've got the change. We've come out of the quatrains and we're going into the two lines, the volta, the shift. This thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong, to love that well which thou must leave ere long. So really, when you're reading a sonnet, the last two lines is where you get the double punch of the meaning. And for us, this says, you see it, that it makes your love stronger, that you love that which you have to leave before long, ere long. So really, what this sonnet is saying, my time's up here. I'm done. I'm leaving. And when something you love is leaving, you love it all the more. So this is particularly true. We're talking about people who move away, people who pass away, people who are sick, the end of school years. When something is leaving or when you know you're about to lose, you love it all the more. This is particularly true for me with a pet that I had. When you know they're old and sick and passing on, you want to cling to them all the more. So really the sonnet is about loss. Here I have an image that we're talking about this late fall, this concept of the loss of summer, the loss of life, kind of the metaphorical end of earth type thing. Finally, we have The Bean Eaters by Gwendolyn Brooks. Pay special attention to this poem. It is on your final a lot, so make sure you understand it. The beauty is it's a very simple poem. They eat beans mostly, this old yellow pair. Dinner is a casual affair. Plain shipware on a plain and creaking wood, tin flatware. Two who are mostly good, two who have lived their day, but keep on putting on their clothes and putting things away. And remembering with twinklings and twinges as they lean over the beams in their rented back room that is full of beads and receipts and dolls and cloths, tobacco crumbs, laces and fringes. I like this poem for several reasons. It is very matter of fact. This is very much an emotionless poem. This person doesn't get involved, which is very different than the other poems we were reading here. Is that it's so straightforward and so devoid of all emotion. I love this description, this old yellow pair. It reminds me of yellowing wallpaper that is like starting to come off the walls. And I think that's a really interesting analogy for the wrinkles of a person's skin. Dinner is casual. Remember, they're eating beans. Anybody who's seen like dried beans at the grocery store in the bulk section, like they're dirt cheap. Plain chipware. So we're getting this image of, at least for me, chipped like teacups and plates on a plain creaking wood. So no tablecloths, no nothing fancy. Tin flatware, so not even silverware, just tin. Two who are mostly good, two who have lived their day, but keep on putting on their clothes and putting things away. And I really like it says that they've lived their day. I know people get old and you say, well, they've lived, but have they lived? Have they lived through tough times? Have they lived their lives? And that's kind of the connotation I pick up here. These people, they've lived, but they're poor. We know that. So for me, I read lived as in they've suffered. They've suffered. But they keep on putting on their clothes. They keep putting things away, regardless of how poor and how much suffering they've gone through. They keep on keeping on. So there's the sense of kind of continuing on with your life. And they remember with twinklings like the stars and twinges like, eesh, this is awful. As they lean over their beams in their rented back room, so they don't even have a flat or a studio apartment, they've rented a back room somewhere, which shows us the extent of their poverty. It is full of beads and receipts and dolls and cloths, tobacco crumbs, laces and fringes. And I think this little bit gets included for a couple specific reasons. I think it talks about what they have by also omitting what they don't have. So, they collect useless things, beads, dolls. What are old people going to do with dolls and junk like tobacco crumbs? So they're putting these things away. They're planning to keep them. But it doesn't talk about the things that they do have, things like diamonds or family photos or anything. So really, these people are alone. They're isolated. They're poor. And they kind of hoard junk because they're trying to find value in things that don't have value to most people because most people have more than this. So this is a kind of a commentary on poverty and what it means to be poor and elderly. I found this picture and I really love this woman here, and it reminds me so much of the yellow old hair. Just her wrinkles are so beautiful and really flawless with this kind of quote chip their bowl. It's a great image, I think, that really kind of encapsulates the Bee Eaters. So that's what I've got for you for Understanding Poetry Freshman English. If you've got questions about any of these poems or you want to discuss more, I love to. So just give me a shout, but otherwise I will see you in class.